In this video, I'm mainly concerned with making a box plot, but I'm going to do a couple of other things first. In this first line, I'm going to create a variable score, and I'm going to randomly select from a normal population 200 values with a population mean of 77.4 and a population standard deviation of 8. Now, anytime I rerun this line, I'm going to get a different data set each time I'm randomly selecting from this normal population. And of course, when you random sample, you'll get a different sample each time. So I'm just going to run that line, and you can see it created a variable score up here and just in this window. I'm assuming you switch the windows in the order I have it over here, but if not, your windows are going to be reversed here on top and bottom in the left-hand side. Now I'm going to run a summary and get the 5-number summary plus the mean, and I'm going to get the standard deviation. I'll need those in a minute with my second box plot. So now I'm just going to do a box plot of scores with just the default, and there we have it, and you can see the box plot with a couple of outliers there. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rerun that box plot, but I'm going to do frame plot equals F or false. That's going to take the line around the outside, and I'm going to give it a title, and I'm going to define the limits for the y-axis. Now this will change depending on your data set. So if you're using this for another data set, you'll have to change this to match up with your data. And in this case, I have a minimum of 53. So I think I'll start at 40 just to be a little bit below there. And then the maximum value was just a little less than 100, so I'm going to put 110 just so I have some space there. This box width equal 0.3 is going to take the width of this box and just make it narrower. And then the color here is just a color I'm putting in. And I notice right now as I'm doing this that the orientation of the numbers on this axis are, I'd like to turn those so the 60 is going this way. I never can remember this exactly what it is, so I'm going to put LAS equal 1. I know it's an LAS, I just can't remember which one is which, and we'll see if that works. If not, then I'll have to try something else or a different number. So I'm just going to run that, and you can see it is narrower. Good. LAS1 put the numbers this way, and changed the color, made it narrower. That's what that box wax equal 3. And if you wanted to make this axis go from start at 50, that'd be okay. But that's on you. So the next thing I want to do is add some text to this, and I just have some default lines here. So my minimum value is 53.07. So I'm going to change that to 53.07 and have it print that, 53.07. And if I just run that line, you will see that it'll put the minimum value right there. And so I'm going to do now the same thing with the other variables. 99.65, 99.65. And then for the median, we had 76.61. Okay, I'm going to pause and put the rest of these in here. You don't need to watch me do that. Okay, I'm back, and you can see that here I've just entered the median, the mean, the standard deviation, the Q1 values. I have to enter them both here because when I do my text, this just says text x is equal to 1.2, and a single box plot 1 is just the middle of the box plot here for x, and so 1.2 will be a little bit to the right of that. And again, that's just something you have to play with when you're doing text. And so then I put, that's what I want the label also to be, to 76.61. I did the same thing for the mean. For the standard deviation, I'll have to orient this to the mean. I'm probably going to get it wrong the first time. It's going to need to be a little bit below there. I'm going to start with 73 as where to locate it, and we'll see if that works out or not. And then here's for Q1 and Q3, and those match the numbers up here. So I'm just going to now run those and see what happens. And that's not too bad. Actually, that came out all right with my mean and standard deviation. Sometimes you get that wrong and they're running together, or there's too much space, so you'll just have to adjust the where the height, the 73, wherever you put it at. Looks like I did okay on that. Now I'm going to add some text to indicate where the outliers are at. And my outlier really is at actually at the maximum value in this case, 99.65. So I'll put that in there. And then for on the lower end, I'm at about 53.07. And by my x value, 0.92, that just means it's going to put it on the left-hand side like I did with the Q3 and Q1. I used 0.82 for those. And I'm going to inset a little bit more closer to the outliers to do that. And so I'll run those two lines, and we'll see how that works out. Not too bad. I find that acceptable. And then finally, I'm going to add a point that's equal to the mean. Go back up here. The mean was 76.48. So I'm going to put a mean there. And the PCH23 is just the plotting character. I'm using a diamond, and I'm coloring it white. But you can do whatever you want there. The CEX, and you can play with that again. That just changes the 1 is the default. 1.25 will make the diamond a little bit bigger. If I put that at 0.75, it would make a little bit smaller. But here we go. I'll just put that in there, and you can see, in this case, they're virtually equal, the median and the mean. But sometimes if you have skewed data or some outliers, it'll be a little bit different. And that's it for this video.